Hey, what's up, guys? Chili from O-Town. I was gonna come back with you today and start the session over. I had a string of bad luck the past few days on our. I'm not gonna say bad luck. I'm just gonna say I've had a string of a lot of sevens lately. Ever since Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I had quite a few sevens coming through. So I grabbed the Amazon. I put this. I put the no. Hey, what's up, James? How's it going? I was trying to get the. I don't know if I can get the. I don't know why it's not coming through. All right, let's see. Let's see now if the chat's coming through. The chat was not coming through. Um, okay, now I got the chat coming through. Okay. All right. So what I was saying was, over the past few days, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, I had quite a few. I've been battling these sevens. So last night on my session, I was having several sevens, so I just pulled the Amazon dice. These are the Craps Nations dice. I just moved them to the side and I grabbed these Amazon dice. That's what I've been practicing with, and I shot with them for a while. But today I'm going to go back to the Craps Nation dice. I've got $1,000 bankroll. I'm going to do a $25 ATS, and I'm going to do 10, 5, and 10 on ATS along with the $10 pass line, and we'll just see how it goes. I kind of got frustrated yesterday evening, and I pushed all these dice over here to the corner. These are the Craps Nations dice, and I was doing even what I saw Mel threatening to do either Friday or Saturday. How he had some video talking about throwing all these suckers in the trash can. Anyway, let me see here. I want to get 2 reds and 2 blacks. I really want to get 2 blues. So I got 2 reds, 2 blacks, and 2 blues. But yeah, so you give them a loan today because they needed it. I hear you, but you took it back from them. Hey, what's up, George? You were up mighty late, George. So Dice Tosser, I thought yesterday you posted where you took some, you got some of your money back from them. So you went back down again today. Um, that's not a great sign when we're having to loan them money. I mean, I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying. So yeah, so I was going to do a little session here. Like I said, yesterday's session, I threatened to throw these Craps Nations dice in the garbage, but it was an eye-opening experience that I had because it made me think about something to the point of, you know, in which this was not a new thing. This is just something that kind of was brought a reality to me. We can practice all we want at our tables, and things come out. You know, we get used to what we're shooting at. But when you walk into a unknown casino or a casino at any point, they could have changed the underlayments, they could have changed the felts, they could have changed the dice, anything. So you have to be able to adjust to any of the circumstances. And yesterday, actually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I was having a battle. Maybe not Friday so bad, but Saturday and Sunday, I was having a bad round with a lot of sevens. So as I said, I threatened to throw out the Craps Nations dice and just go back to Amazon's, but it is, as George is saying right now, adapt and overcome. So that was the eye-opening experience that I had yesterday when I couldn't do anything to get the dice to behave correctly. I mean, I tried everything. I tried moving my pickup spot closer. I tried moving it out. I tried moving it to the right. I tried moving it to the left. I tried everything. I tried a short throw, a short drawback with a deeper throw. I tried a longer drawback with a deeper throw. I tried all kind of things, and I could not get the dice to behave any kind of consistent way. So got a little frustrated at the moment, but then after I started throwing with the Amazon dice, it made me realize, hey, this is probably a good thing because this will happen regularly on a regular basis in any casino. I mean, you don't get to go in a casino and practice, but I think I'm a little bit short. Let me see. So I put a quarter up for ATS, and I put $10 up. Yep. So I put $10 up for my pass line. So yep. So there it is. So to try something different, try something different. And when you say try something different, are you talking about dice sets? Are you talking about throws? Yeah, because I was thinking about it, and I'm going to. So don't even hit the back wall. But you got to get them close enough before the casinos won't. Before the stick man doesn't penalize you, though. Correct? Is that what you're saying? Just get it to. Well, that was to the back wall, and that was an on-axis hit. That was an on-axis secondary double pitch. So you're saying throw them just enough before they don't. Well, it'll take me a little practice to get there. It'll take me a little practice to not throw them to the back wall. Yep, you're right. That's what it is practice. Yeah, they do have sharp edges, and that was what I was noticing. I probably wasn't hitting flat a lot of times, and they would take a hard hop after they hit. They would take a hard bounce when I'm like, but yeah. So that's what I was going to do. Like I said, at first I kind of got a little frustrated. So you're saying throw them like basically doing the landing zone. Or okay, you said throw them softer so they don't hit the back wall, and then go a little more and a little more. Okay, and a little further until you are hitting the back wall. Okay, I see what you're saying now. Because I thought for a moment you were saying try to practice and throw into not having contact with the back wall. You're just saying just start practicing with a little bit of a shorter throw, which that was still a deep throw because it went to the back wall. So dice tosser, they weren't hitting the back wall. They weren't hitting the back wall, and the dealers weren't saying, the stick man wasn't saying anything. And so these hopping dice are probably to not landing flat, I would think, because I can take those Amazon dice that are probably not near sharp, which these Amazons are still got a little bit of edges. They're still pretty decently pointed, but they're not pointing in sharp as these. I mean, these still feel pretty decent, but I can feel a little bit of dullness on them compared to them. But yeah, the Amazon dice, I can make them kind of land, and they're sticking. They're sticking when they land. It's Craps Nations. Yeah, I have to get used to the sharp edges, and that's going to be more of the dice landing flat, do you think? Because in the current situation that I'm in now, they're probably not landing. They're probably not landing flat, maybe. Dice Tosser, you're right. Uh, Dice Tosser, you're right. Having to dodge chips, you would think that people would know that. You would think that people would understand it, but you got to think a lot of people are not. A lot of people, they're not even know anything about dice setting. It's all the chicken feeding, as y'all keep referring to. Okay, so I'm just throwing easier and short right now until I get no back wall, and then I will go deeper to where I get. See, that was like, that like landed and died. It didn't even roll any, so if it lands and dies like that, I feel like it's probably a flat land. Yeah, you're right, Dice Saucer. If they want to get paid for it, I mean, it seems like they would. It seems like they would, but you know, they're not. They're not thinking like that. You know, we're probably in a different level of thought than a lot of people that you encounter in the casino, because a lot of people that you encounter in the casino are probably playing on hoping that somebody's going to, you know, be lucky. They're probably not even considering that we are practicing for certain spots. We're practicing for certain positions on the table. We're practicing for certain landing spots. You got to realize most people are not considering that. Most people, and I say most, I know most in the area that I see, because the past 3, 4, 5 weeks that I've been to my casinos, I have not come across anybody that's consistently setting. Okay, George. All right, George, you have a good evening. Have a good evening, George. Um, but yeah, Dice Tosser, you have to figure. Well, no, what I was saying, in my area, I have not come across, and I've been there quite a few times. Saturday night, I went to 6 different casinos. I didn't play, but at 2 of them. No, I played at 3 of them. But one casino, no, I played on the tables on 2 casinos. One casino I went in just to give I wanted to get the table conditions. I seen what it was. I didn't play it, but I walked over to the bubble craps machine just to play it for a couple of hits. And I got out of it quick. I didn't play it long. But that was the first time I'd ever played a bubble craps machine. But anyway, what I was getting at, let me see what you're saying here. Watch the solution they clean dice with. I had one time yesterday that the dice were stuck together. I picked up on the dice to rotate it, and the other was completely stuck to it. Yeah, I realized that too, Dice Tosser, because a lot of times when they give you that solution, when they give you those dice from the start, it's to be so sticky on your fingers. The first throw or 2, they stick to your fingers, and when you try to release them, your fingers just make the dice misbehave. So what I do, and it probably works for anybody, if they probably do it, if they want to clean them, I just rub them on the felt a little bit. You know, I spin them around by the time they hand them to me and try to rub some of that solution off. I don't want it on there. Now, I did see, I think, your comments yesterday saying, you know, a lot of people were using hardware sets and working them on the first few come outs. You know, that's so it might be a benefit on your end, but on my end, it was sticking so bad to my fingers that I couldn't release the dice evenly. Yep. So I know that I know what you're saying there, and then but you would think, as you said, that some of the regulars, some of the dice people would realize, hey, we need to clean this landing zone out. We see somebody down there setting dice and they're trying to be consistent in hitting a spot. But instead, they throw their chips up. A lot of times I even notice that people down here where you're trying to throw to, they'll have their hands in the way. They'll be having their arms off in the way. You know, it's just stuff. You know, maybe not that far. Maybe I'm over exaggerating there, but they will have their hands on into the table in an area. You know, so them different type of things you have to kind of. It seems like people would be more conscious, but they're not. They're not. They're not. They're not. They have no clue to the reality that we are in. Especially, I guess what I'm saying. Because the reality we're in, we are trying to throw dice, hit a particular landing zone, and end with with that consistent landing zone time after time after time. So, as George has just opened my eyes to a whole new level that I have not considered previously. I've always, ever since I've started this, I'm going to do it on this throw. I've always thrown the dice a little harder to get a deep landing zone. Now that toss right there kind of behaved correctly, but that's not generally what's happening. I have been throwing. I'm going to go down to the other end of the table as soon as this dice release. I've been throwing like that. Okay, so this is what I've been trying to do. I've been throwing my dice and trying to get deep in the landing zone with and my throw is not a high arch throw. It's more of a kind of a line drive, so this kind of works in my disadvantage sometimes because I'm throwing in a line drive type throw. The dice are coming in hard and fast. So what I've been doing is trying to hit deep in the landing zone so that when they hit, they don't have a lot of height that they can bounce up. Okay? But you got to keep in mind my throw's coming low, so it's coming in hard. So when I get a low throw coming in hard, it hits the dice table in the deep in the landing zone, and when it hits if the dice don't hit flat and it hits on one of them corners, it's going to get a lot of rebounds. But what George just now made me realize, from what he's having me doing right there, was throw deeper back here and then let them roll a time or two before they kind of just take a hop up there. So that might be what I might need to tweak on my throw because I've never thrown for the shorter landing zone. And as the more I think about this, that might be the solution to the bouncy tables. Because on a bouncy table, when I throw my mechanics, I'm throwing deep into it, but it's a bounce, so my line drive throw has a lot of force to get it down there at the right distance. But right here, I'm backing off on the force so that they can land deeper, closer to myself, which is not as deep. And I might not be making any sense, but it's making sense in my mind what I'm trying to think. I don't know if it's coming out the way I'm thinking it, but so I guess supposedly if you only get one dice to the back wall, they're not going to say a lot to you. Which I guess if only one dice is going to the back wall, the other dice is misbehaving to a degree. To keep them on axis and on rotation, they're supposed to be landing together. See, like that. See, when they landed, them suckers just bounced all the way over there. Now, it did end with an on-axis center pitch. But I think this has got something to do with the landing. So that might be And I don't even know what my throw count is. I don't know what my number results have been. I haven't even been keeping up with them. I've just been trying to tossing and trying to get a little better feel on the dice. But I don't seem like I've hit many sevens. I don't even know if I've hit any. I don't know. I haven't tracked anything. But I see this right dice is coming off axis. I'm getting a lot of fives on. I'm getting a lot of implosion on the right dice. See, this time we have our own axis, but it's a double pitch. It's going to probably be a lot of double pitches with me throwing that far away from the back wall because they have a lot of room to land and roll. That's kind of why I thought that I was doing the better deal by going deep into the landing zone. See, that right there is giving it a lot of room to roll. And maybe I'm still throwing hard, I'm not sure. Maybe like that. That was an on-axis single pitch. They landed a little better. Well, they didn't jump all the way off to the side once they landed. So they seem to have landed a little better. And that was an implosion on both. So that's just probably a grill thing. So that right there, that left dice is kind of landing short and not going into the back wall, and that's what I'm trying to do. But that right dice still might be a grip issue because that right dice is still going a little bit further than the left dice. Now see, I probably could get away with a throw like that. That's an on-axis single pitch again. Because one dice is landing to the wall. And then, I mean, it's just barely getting up there, but right at the end of its cycle, it's touching to the wall. So they probably wouldn't. Now that left dice jumped way out there that time, but it stayed on axis. It was my right dice that come off axis. But this might be my better option considering the table conditions and the sharp dice. Just throw really short. Now that time I threw it a lot higher than my normal throw. And that's what happens a lot of times with that sticky solution. Now I'm not betting, I'm not keeping up with any stats, I'm not tracking anything. I'm just only practicing the roll. I'm only practicing, and it's not even really the roll, it's more or less the toss. Which I'm just trying to go short throws. Just a little bit of force. And that right there ended well. I had an on-axis primary hit, but when the dice landed, they both jumped. So that tells me that I didn't have something leveled. When I mean leveled, I mean this way. So this is just another thing I want to point out. If you place these back edges on the felt, you have the dice level. If you hold them in this C position, in this small C or long C or whatever you want to call it, you don't know if you've got the dice tipped up this way. You don't know if you've got them tipped over that way. You try to hold them level, but you don't know if you got them right. Here, you do know they're right because the table's level. The only issue with this is you still have to have the back swing and the forward motion to keep them level. So what I notice on my motion a lot of times, just by watching it in slow motion like this, sometimes it looks like my dice do get off. But I'm just saying, a starting base, if you have them flat on the edge right there, you know you got them level to start with. And it's kind of like a golf swing. You know, a golf swing, you have they tee the club up. You know, when they adjust their feet, and then they come backwards, way back, and then they swing it. But when they hit, they've kept that same. You know, this is just practice. So that's just all. That's just an observation I wanted to point out. All I'm saying is it's easier to get a starting point if you lay the dice on the table to start with than it is holding them here. Because if you hold them here, you might not have them twisted just right. You might have them leaned. See, I could probably get by with a throw like that. I know I can get by with it at the casino. Because at the casino, I see it, as Dice Tosser just pointed out, they don't even call it a lot of times. At the locals that I go to, they don't even call it. I see the dice getting thrown like this, and they don't even roll half. Sometimes don't even get close to the back wall. They'll end way out here in the Kong area. They'll end way out here. Stickman calls them. They don't even tell them hit the back wall. So, you know, I know. Now, I guess if you were setting and you were starting to make a lot of money from them, for a way for them to distract you, they might would say something to you. Like that right there. That right there seemed like a lot better throw. And I feel like the adjustment that was just now brought up by George to try may help me in several areas. Because for one thing, I won't have near as much energy, as he calls it. I won't have near as much energy in the dice because I'm not throwing them as hard. Alright, so, you know, I can see that that can help, is all I'm really saying. It's just going to take practice to determine did it help. And that wouldn't be a bad number there. This would just take practice to be able to tell was the results there? Was it worth making? Now see, that was a double pitch, but it was on axis. So, you know, on axis is just like what he just said. That's what you're trying to accomplish. And once you start getting a lot of on axis, go ahead and start going a little deeper to the wall and a little deeper. Like that, maybe. That's an on axis hit right there. And I felt it when I let them go. You know, it just felt a lot better. I'm not having to throw them near as hard. So only observation I'm making on that. Well, yeah. Dice Tosser, you're right. When you're tipping the dealers, and if you're not really hitting a lot of points or numbers, but if you start, let's say I'm setting, they see me setting, they see me throwing, this set on primary is going to hit a 3-3, and it's going to hit a 4-4. And if I get to where I'm starting to hit them hard ways often, and I'm betting on them, they'll make me change something. They'll say something to me. So if you are setting and they see them threes going up top and I start hitting that set 3 threes and I'm not hitting that back wall and I start getting a bunch of hard ways and I'm throwing short, oh, you guarantee they're going to say something. But if you just see random rollers doing some crap like that, and it's 7 hours and it's random, and it's just random, they probably ain't gonna say a whole lot. But yeah, you're right. Tipping will probably allow to leave you alone a little more. And this right here is, as George just pointed out, and I think that's what got me frustrated, is because, you know, I felt like over the time I put in a lot of practice on this, and then when I get these better dice, they would not behave at all. So, you know, that's the thing, is I was getting frustrated with it yesterday. But, you know, I'm kind of a persistent old guy. I'm not going to give up easily. I'm not going to give up real easy. They like have to, and this is the thing, so not giving up easy, continuing to practice at it, putting in lots and lots and lots of practice, and then on top of that, I'm going to limp around the casino, and that was an on-axis primary hit. I'm going to limp around. I'm going to creep in and out of the games. I'm not jumping out there and throwing a whole bankroll out there and thinking, hey, I'm finna repeat what I've been having at home. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to creep around. I'm just going to, I guess some of them can refer to it as, I'll give you this statement. When I first come on board with the Craps Nation crew, David, same bet, they, I don't know who started it or where it come from or if it's gone now, but they used to, he maybe even told me this, but they said he couldn't run with the big dogs because he wouldn't get off the porch. Well, they can consider me a small dog because I'm not off the porch. I don't hardly get off the porch, and I'm not going to get off the porch. You know, I can say this: I had a great run in North Carolina back about 2 months back. It was right before the 4th of July. I think it was July the 1st or June the 30th. I was on my way home from North Carolina and I stopped at that casino. That was the first casino I had been to the whole year. Well, ever since COVID shut everything down. And I had a good roll. I hit the all tall small with 5, 5, and 5 on it. But without that 5, 5, 5, I might not have made that much money. I left that night with a $1,500. I bought in for 3. I walked out with $1,500, but I told the dealer, like, was it $30? I think I tipped him. So I colored up and I had $15.30. I told him 30, but I was also tipping him along the way. All right, but what I'm getting at is, I was a small dog. I wasn't getting off the porch. I was betting. I was doing 110 on the inside, but I was not pressing them. I wasn't pressing them, even though I had practiced and practiced and practiced. And now, I still don't. So, they can just consider me a small dog if that's what they want. I'm just trying to learn. I'm just trying to learn, and until I find the right table conditions, and I find the right dealers that's not misbehaving on, I will continue to do what I've been doing, just kind of creep around, limp in and out of games. Not do a whole bunch of crazy betting, just until I can find my right spot. And then this is another thing I was saying last night. So far, and we talked about this already one time today, about the people being there, the chicken feeders. I have not, to this day, come across a table. Okay, so I said this yesterday. I'm going to say it like this again. I'm going to say this again just to bring up what I brought up yesterday. I'm a solo player. Not necessarily that I want to be. It's just because I don't have anybody in my area, like close, like in a few miles, 15, 20, 30 miles of me, that hangs out with me, that comes over, and that we just like practice. And then we go to the casino together, and then we get on the table together. That way, if I'm having a bad shooting and he's having a good shooting, you know, I can still make bets like that. I don't have that. I don't have nobody like that. A lot of us probably don't. I mean, James, Dice Tosser, I know some of y'all hooked up, you know, some of the Crouch Nation crews have hooked up and met up and did things like that. And that's a great thing. But I don't have anybody. I mean, I do have a couple people that's close, you know, within a few 100 miles, but that's not close enough for us to practice together. So, you know, and then so just bringing that back up, I was going to this point with it. So every time that I've been at the casino, I have not seen anyone consistently putting dice on a set. I see them picking the dice up and twisting them around and moving them over to a number, but they're not doing nothing consistent. They're just randomly picking numbers out of the blue. They're not even knowing what numbers they're picking. You can tell, I mean, they act like they're twisting them around and trying to find the right number, but they're just flying by the seat of their pants. They're just doing what feels good at the moment. So what I'm getting at by all that is, when I'm at the table, I have not seen any shooter. I have not seen any signs from any player at the tables whatsoever. I seen the guy at the hit the All Tall Small a few weeks back at Soundstown, and he was there Saturday night, but he was not setting the dice up. He wasn't setting them. He might have been doing what George kind of does on that rhythm rolling, because however they pass the dice back to him, that's generally how he was picking them up. And he was throwing down from stick right one, and he was picking them up. He was, whatever they give them to him on is what he was picking them up on. And he had a little bit. He had like the closest thing that I noticed from any consistent setter. And that was like he did a consistent throw every time. Even though he never did a consistent dice set. He just picked the dice up on whatever they give him. But he did have a consistent throw. He was throwing them on a high arch, and they was landing deep in the landing zone, and just, you know, and he come close to hitting the All Tall Small again Saturday night, but he needed one or two numbers, and he couldn't get it. But I only shot 2 times at that table because they started making me bet on every player. And the table wasn't full. There was nobody waiting in line. Most of the time that I was at that table, I was at stick left one. There was one other person down in the back wall, and there was 3 on the other end. And every now and then there might be 4 on the other end, but the table was never full, and they went to making me bet on every single shooter. So I did that till the dice got back around to the guy that I thought might hit the All Tall Small. So I got to bet with him shooting twice, and I betted with myself shooting twice. And after my second 7 out on my second roll, I left the table because I didn't like the idea that they was finna sit there and make me bet every single roller. I mean, if the table would have been full and there would have been people waiting to get on the table, I could have understand that move better. But the table was not full. None was it ever full, and they still make me do that. So I left that table. I left that casino. It wasn't but one table open at that casino. All right, so I maybe got a few warm-up tosses in. I'm gonna continue to do what I've been doing, throwing them kind of short. But I am gonna go ahead. I've only got about 30 minutes left, or no, really only got about 20 minutes left, because about 5:50 I'm gonna cut this off. Let's see, it's been on for 39 minutes. All right, so after about another 15 or 20 minutes, maybe 30 throws, something like that, I'm going to end this video. But I am going to do some betting. I've got my 25 up for ATS. I got my $10 pass line up. So now I'm going to do some betting, Roly. Nice. All right, we've got a 2-2 hardware 4. So the right dice stayed on that. Left dice stayed on axis. Right dice imploded. No, exploded, sorry. So we've got a hard 4. All right, let's just go ahead. We'll do a 220 on the inside, and if we can, we will spread it. We will get the outsides, but we're only going to start with 220 on the inside. We're going to mark the four. Okay, the four's marked. All right, here we go. All right, we got a 268. So that's an on-axis primary hit. Mark the 8. All right, so that's a $70. It's a $70. So let's just do this too. When we've got even money on the 5 and 9, they will be buy bits. No, we're not going to get into all that. It pays a little bit better if they're buys. But I'm not going to worry about all that. I'm not going to worry about all that right now. Most casinos are automatically making them buy bets anyway. 4 and 10 are always going to be buys if they're over 20. 5 and 9, a lot of casinos are making them automatics now. All right, we got our 314. That's an on-axis hit. So that's a $70 winner. So it does cost us $3 big. No, excuse me. It's $35 up there, so it only costs us $1 to big. So there's my $4 change, and it pays me 70 bucks. So there we go. Now, since we've had two hits, our first hit, that's a pass line winner also. Our first hit was able to buy our 4 and 10, and our second hit was to collect 70, but we go ahead and reduce to the 130. We reduce to 130 inside, and we only leave quarters on the outside. So our puck is not working on the come out. We hit our point. This is a new point coming out. We are not working. All right, we got to come out 7. So we knock our ATS off. We've only hit a 4 and 8. We've only hit a 4 and 8, come out 7, 4, 3, 7. So we win 10 and we have to re-up our ATS. Win our 10, re-up our ATS. Okay. Alright, here we go. That's the come out. Mark the come out. Dice. Alright, come out 7. Win 10. The right dice exploded. The left dice stayed on axis 5, 2, 7. Come out 7. We win 10. We have to re-up our ATS. Alright. So, this is not the greatest. Alright, so let's do this. We're just going to do something. This right here, we're going to do this right here. Now, I know we're going to probably lose some money right here. But we're going to do this $30 lay for the come out only. The place bets are not working. The 30, 30, 30 on the come out. That time, we would have already had 2 come out 7s, would have made our money. So this is basically just to get us past the come out. Alright, we got a 416, so we're past the come out. Alright, we're past the come out. Our new point's a 10. We cut our lays off. Actually, we're going to take them down. So if we would have been doing that each time, we would have already made 2 $57 winners on them 2 come outs. And I thought about that earlier today, but I didn't. I forgot to do that when I got here. So our new point's a 10, 4, 6, 10. That's an on axis. That's on axis. They are, Robert. So yes, in my set, when I pick them up, this is what I do. I let these back corners, just the corner part right there, the corner, that's what rests on the table, and that basically just evens them up. All right, we got a 246. This is an on-axis hit again. 3-2, 3-6. 246 is the hit, so it pays 35. Now, what we do, we go ahead. We started with 220. We had 2 hits. The first hit spread it to the outside. The second hit, we reduced the inside to 130 and the outsides to 25 each. So now we take two more regressions, one step at a time. We take the 130 down to 76 inside, but it's 2 steps. So this $35 winner right here, and we reduced the 6 and 8 first. We reduced the 6 and 8 first. Everybody knows that's watching probably right now how I do that, because I've done it 1,000 times. So right there, so that's the first step. The second step, so that was an 8. No, that was a 6, sorry. All right, so the second step is reduce to 5 and 9. And it doesn't matter if the 5, 9, it doesn't matter which number hits right here. It doesn't matter which box number comes next. The next move is to reduce the 5 and 9. So we got a 6. We got a 246. This is an on-axis single pitch. So even though we would like to hit for the 5 or 9 or even the 4 or 10, we hit it with a 6. So that is $21. So the $21, what that basically does, that gives you 2 units, 2 $5 unit, two $5 units to go there and 2 to go there, and you collect that quarter and that quarter. That leaves 10 that was there on the 5 and 10 that was on the 9. Puts that there. So that completes. So you basically pull in another $51 right there. And that's the regression. That's far regression as I need to go. But there's 100, 200, 225, 250, 271. So there's 271 back in our rack, I believe. I might have took some money out of there, but I don't think so. I think I took my initial 220, plus I had to put a 25 ATS in the $10 pass line, so I took an initial, what, 255 out of here. And I think everything else has been going from right here. I tried to do that. I might have made a mistake because I've been talking. All right, so I don't have to regress anything else. That's basically what I'm saying. But just to be certain, right here, just to kind of protect against maybe that 1727 come outs that I had, and I had to re-up them $225 ATSs, I can leave that board like it is and take a try to get one more box number, one more hit, and collect. $426. So this time the 426 is an off axis. The right dice exploded. 426. All right. So this is what I'm saying. That would pay 21. So that $21 winner right there, I could just collect it, just for the sake of I've had to replace 2 $25 come out ATS monies. So I could just do a collect right there. Or I can just regress everything. I took 3 hits or 4 hits and come down off the field. I can do whatever. It's really up to you. I just like going down to 76 inside because that takes 4 hits. 246. All right, so we're getting good on this 6. That's another 6. That's 6, 6. At the past 5 rows, we get a 6, then a 5, and a 6, 6, 6. Now, if we were playing VDC's trending strategy right now, I've already set myself up for a ladder. I had a come out, I had a 5, alright, so my points are 10, and then I hit a 6. And then I hit a 5, and then a 6, 6, 6. So I've set myself up for a ladder. 5, 6, 6, 6. 7's supposed to be next. So I'm just going to collect that one again. Actually, since I'm in a ladder, I'm really supposed to be cutting these bets off. You know, so. But if I'd have been cutting them off, well, this is what he says. During that ladder, you can leave that 6 place bet. You leave it on because sometimes a ladder will run 5, 6, 7. So you leave that 6 on 6, 6, 6, 6. Then it'll finally hit the 7. That's a ladder. Or the vice versa on the 9, 8, 7. 9, 8, 7. But you can place bet the 8, 8, 8 because the 8 might run multiple times before the 7. So really what I could do is cut all the bets off and leave the 6 working. But I'm not going to do all that. I'm just going to continue to roll and try to get out of that ladder. Try to avoid that continuation of the ladder. And I didn't. So see right there, 4, 3, 7. So that was the perfect, that was the ladder as he talks about. 5, 6, 6, 6, 7. Boom, ladder right there. So see, I was supposed to cut my place bets off. I did not do it. I even said I was supposed to. Did not do it. I was supposed to have cut my place bets off and been hopping for the 7s. I didn't do it. That resets our ATS. That resets everything. So 25 for the ATS, $10 for the pass line. That money's up. Now we are on a new come out. New shooter, new come out. We'll mark that 7. We're getting a new shooter right here. New shooter, new shooter. 3, 2, 3, 6 on the set. That's right. 213. 213 is an on-axis hit. It's just a front line loser for a come out. So I have to re-up the $10. And I didn't do it again. But remember a while ago I said I was supposed to be doing them $30 lays for the come outs. I was supposed to be doing 30, 30, 30. Or you can just take the whole, I mean the 30, 30, 30 is a cheaper way to protect against the 7 because you are just about, I mean, you're putting yourself at risk for one number to get knocked off. But can't but one number get knocked off. Look at the last time when I come out. I had 2 come out 7s in a row before I finally made a point. So I guess the thing would be to kind of, if you was tracking, it would be what is the safest numbers? What are the most lost numbers? Then decide which 3 you want to lay. But this only protects for the come out 7. I don't keep them lays up every time. And we hit a yoke, 6-5 yoke. So that's actually a 6-5 is a drift. So both dice went off axis, but that's a front line winner. Nothing happens with our 7 money. Nothing happens with our lays. All right, so we're still on the come out. The lays are still up. They're only protecting for the 7. And there might be other ways to protect against that 7. Matter of fact, let's think about this. There are a lot of different better ways to protect against the 7. Well, not really. Because let's look at it this way. We could hop big red. We could hop the red right now for that same $30. It'd be $10 a piece. If the 7 comes, we're going to win 15 times 10. We're going to win 150. If the 7 don't come, well, boom, we lost that money. But what happens right there where I just hit the 3 and I just hit the yoke? That would be 30. That would be 30 and 30 would already be gone. So which one is the most benefit to you? To me, it might be this strategy because you are only going to lose 30 at the most on this one hit. And it can you're either going to establish a point, or you're going to win $57 if a 7 shows on the come out. So you can't lose but $30 right there. Or the other way, there's another yoke. The thing about this yoke is a 5-6 yoke, which is an on-axis yoke. The thing about, see right there, see that's a 3 and a yo back to back. So if I was hopping the reds, I'm already $90 in the hole. Where the way I'm laying them, I haven't lost a dime right there. They're still up. Only thing I'm saying is that hopping, that's one rollers. Them is one rolls. Them are good for one rolls. They pay better, but you can see I'm already $90 in the hole if I was hopping. $628. All right, so there we go. We protected against the 7. We hit a 628, so our points are 8. We didn't get a come out 7. We never lost any of our 30s. We've got a point established now. So we protected against the 7s, the come out 7s that is. Now, true enough, we was taking a chance that we was either going to hit a 4, 5, or 6. And the same thing goes right here. I mean, we're going to put money up now, and what's the guarantee that we ain't going to hit a 7 again? There is none. So if you're scared of the 7, I'm not protecting against the 7 ever hit. I'm just protecting against the 7 for the come out. And I don't normally do that. I just thought earlier that made a little sense. $314. So we hit a 4. We have no money on it. That's an on-axis hit. 3-1. All right, I don't have much longer, guys. I'm gonna see if I can't try to complete an all or tall or small. All right, 235. So we did hit the 5. 2-3. That's an on-axis single pitch that pays 70. There's our 70. We're going to put 35 on the 4, 35 on the 10. Put our 5 in the tracker. Here we go. Now, if you really want to protect your money, and I was just going to say, if you really want to protect your money, you can lay those 3 bets for every row. You can lay them because you're only going to knock them off once. So let's say if we laid all 3 of them, what would happen right there? Just then, we hit the 7. So we would have lost our 220. We lost it regardless because we hit the 7. So we lost it regardless, but we would have just now got 57 of it back. So, you know, that's probably not that great of a, I don't know, it's just something you have to think about. Anyway, I have to end this session here. I talked on it a lot, so I'm going to hope to get back in here later and play. All that money's down because that 220 just down from that 7. We got 100, 200, 3, 4, 5, 5 1/4, 526, 626, 726, and 75. So we got 801. So that was that 220 just got knocked down. Actually, it was more than 220 because we lost 10 on the pass line and 25 on the. So that 220 right there that just got knocked down, that cost us a little bit of our $1,000 bankroll. But the thing is, I wouldn't be leaving normally right here. I wouldn't normally be leaving. Let's look at the stats right quick. All right, so say I've only had 19 rows. I don't know what that's. I've only had 19 rows, 9.5 SOR. So out of 19 rows, I had 2 7-outs. So see, I wouldn't be leaving right here. So I really probably don't consider myself having a negative bank, being down in the bankroll, because I wouldn't actually be leaving right here. You know, at this point in the game, 19 rows, I definitely wouldn't be leaving. But let's look at the stats. We have 2 8s, 4 6s, 3 4s, and then 2 come out 7s, 2 yos, 2 5s, 1 3, 0 9s, 0 2s, and 0 12s. Now that's kind of, out of 19 rows, I didn't have a 9 at all, but that was because I did a little something different than normal. I shot a little closer. I didn't throw, you seen what I was doing. I was throwing really short, as George had pointed out to start with, trying to throw it short enough to where they'll even reach the back wall. And that's what I was doing, but I still never got it that soft. I never got them soft enough that it wasn't reaching the back wall. But I did, you know, this was practice, and it helped open my eyes up to something. So I'm going to go ahead and reset my $1,000 bankroll, because I just like to have it reset by the time I come back. So there's my $1,000 bankroll. So yeah, if that last 220, that's what I lost. That would have been up and above 1,000, and that was just because I had that 220 on the board, and I lost all that. So, you know, before I lost that 220, I was into the profit. But that one roll, you know, which happens. It happens. You put your money up and you lose. It happens. But anyway, on that note, I gotta go. I got a little bit of work to go catch up on and get done this evening. Try to get back in here later and do another video, because 19 rows is definitely not enough practice for me on one day. So on that note, I will be catching up with you guys in a little while, and I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate all you guys out there. And the description is going to be in the link below if anybody's interested in joining the Skype chat group from the Craps Nation chat. It will be in the description below. So I encourage each and everybody that's interested in dice in any kind of way to please come on over and join that group, and help support my channel, help support the other guys that's in the group. And on that note, dice are out. Chili from O-Town. Thank you.